welcome, Kate. So good to be with you.
Thank you. Lovely to be with you too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to know, when did you learn about releasing, or how maybe as well?
Oh, that's a long story. Do you want the long story?
No.
I was actually in 1981 in June. I was working with a woman who kept saying, "You need to do this class." And I kept saying, "Oh, I've done all those classes." I had done a lot of sales courses because we were commission sales people. We were working together, and she listened really well. And I noticed, and and she was top salesperson in our group. And I was an experienced salesperson, and she was actually doing better than I was. And so she kept saying, you know, "You need to do this. You need to do this." And I was a single parent with three children and working commission sales, which you only get what you sell. You don't usually get a salary. Um, so we were working together, and one day she said, "You need to do this course." And she had said this several times. And I said, "Sandy, I don't even know how I'm going to feed my children next week," which wasn't really true, but it's how I felt.
Mm.
"And you want me to do this course?" She said, "Would you do it if you had the money?" And I said, "I would do anything that would help." And my ex husband had just taken me back to court, and we had moved 6 months before. And so the kids were going through, big change and all that. So I said I would do it if I had the money, and she wrote the check.
Mm.
Now, this is a good friend. And she called the office and she made the appointment for me to take the course. And she said to me, "Now, if you can afford to pay this back, this is this is a loan. And if you can't, it's a gift." Well, I did
Mm.
pay her back. I think she gave me $50 as a birthday gift from it, but otherwise I paid it back. So and we released together for the first, I don't know how long, year or so. It was very, very, very helpful. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I made the I made the largest cash sale they'd ever had in that office. We were selling real estate and mobile homes in Phoenix, Arizona, and I made the largest cash sale they had ever had there. So it
Now I
was
better
a
keep releasing.
we had all kinds of fun. Yeah, yeah,
So, so you say that your friend, you could just see how present she was with you and how she was selling so well. So,
yeah.
how has releasing impacted your life?
Oh my gosh. In so many ways. One of the things that happened is Lester came. They had a little like graduation ceremony at the end of the course, and Lester came. And everybody was saying, "Oh, Lester's here, Lester's here." And I didn't even know who he was. I mean, they had told me a little bit about him, but I didn't really know. And so I started to have meals with Lester and this little group sometimes, and we could ask him questions. And so I asked him a lot of questions. And I could see he had a lot of wisdom. I could really see that. but there were things that started to happen immediately after I took the course. I noticed my children weren't as afraid of my anger. When I would get irritated with them or angry with them, um, I they just weren't afraid of it. And before they had been afraid. And I noticed, I mean, I was still, anger would come up and I would be, I didn't hit them, but
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
angry. I was angry. And they would kind of giggle behind their hand now. It was a whole different experience. And before I could see fear in their eyes, and they weren't now. And also, I remember not long after the course, I was sitting with a friend who had come over, and my youngest, who was 3 or 4 years old, and we were talking, and all of a sudden, I was looking down at us from the top of the room. I was looking down, and I thought, wow, this is really different.
Mhm.
And then I came back into my body, but I didn't even know that was possible. And it was just I don't know, a few weeks after I took the course. And so there were things started to happen. And I was walking out to the pool with my little boy one night, and I remember thinking, I felt so light and so free that I felt like if I let go of his hand, I might just float off. Now, of course, that's not true, but it felt like I was so light and happy, just so happy. And it many things. About a year after I took the course, my mother took the course and my daughter took the course, and they wanted to know what I was doing. They
Mhm.
just wanted to know, so they took it. And it was very helpful for them. Um, very helpful. Yeah.
We're a few years later now.
Yes.
Only a few, right, Kate? And
Uh,
yeah, you seem always so cheerful and happy, and you're so sweet and kind. So, is that just something that happens when someone releases? You, like there's just more peace and more happiness in general?
yes. Yes. It depends if you really use it. It's a tool and it's your choice if you let go. But I felt like I had found the answers to what life was all about when I took it. I felt like I could see what motivated people and where they were coming from and how they could solve their problems. And I'm sure I was very pushy at the beginning because I so wanted everybody to have that answer to the questions of life. There were things that I saw, I had wanted answers to spiritual questions too,
Hmm.
and to practical questions, and they would just come. They would just come. It was amazing. I would get answers like to things in scripture that I never really understood, or things that people had told me about business or um, psychology or things like that. And all of a sudden, I would see the answer. It
So
was
you don't
amazing.
need AI.
I think maybe releasing taps into our own intelligence in a
Yeah.
way that we couldn't before.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe this is how to tap into our not artificial intelligence, but real intelligence, real wisdom. Yeah, the answers come.
Yeah.
Mm.
Beautiful. So is this maybe a good time to share what releasing is for those who don't know?
Sure. Um, Releasing is a way that you can let go of whatever's in the way. I loved it when I learned it because I had always been very, very emotional, and my emotions had always run me. And when I learned to release, I realized those emotions weren't who I was. I could just drop them, let them go, and be calm and present in a way I hadn't been before. So it was an empowering thing to learn because as I released, I realized that I had power I had never touched. And I began to see who I really was and who, of course, we all are. And I saw that the more I released, the more in touch with all that power that I was. And the joy, too. I mean, there's no end to the joy and the love. And the more you let go, the more it's accessible. It's
Mm.
just there. Yeah. So, did I answer your question about what release is? Maybe not quite. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I know what it is, so but maybe you
Yes.
can share a bit more.
Um, we teach a series of questions that you can ask yourself wherever you are, and that allows you to let go of whatever's there in the way. Of course, it's always something in us that's in the way. It looks like it's out there, but we're creating our world in every moment. So as we let go of what's in the way in us, all of the world and everything is available. We're letting go of the blocks to having what we want. We're letting go of those emotions that keep us from loving fully and from being able to communicate with people in a deeper way. And so it was like a miracle when I learned to release. I remember the first day of the course, I went to lunch with actually my friend's boyfriend. The one who got me on the course, it was her boyfriend. And he was talking about things. And I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if I could let this go. Let me try. And I was just ping, 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 letting go of everything while he was talking. And I was getting higher and higher and higher, even the first day. It was
Wow.
like a game for me. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. And would you say that anyone could do it, or is it more for people, or is it easier for people who are more in touch with what they're feeling?
I think anybody can do it. I've taught so many people through the years, and I've taught engineers and scientists and people very much in their mind. and people who really didn't want to feel much, but they were all able to release. They were all able to release. There occasionally is a person who really just doesn't even want to touch something, but
Mm.
usually if I can steer them into it gently, they're able to let it go. Even people who've had a big loss and have a lot of grief there. Usually, once they see that if they let go of the grief, there's only love there. It's just beautiful to see the shift.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just thinking of like what are like very big gains because in everyone's life, mine as well, there are just some things that just feel so sticky that you think, oh my God, this is just impossible. So I can imagine you must have had that as well, and or you've heard of other people, and then if they moved past that through or yeah, transmuted it or something through releasing.
Many, many, many big gains. Um, I worked with one man who showed up on maybe the I was coaching with him, and he showed up on maybe the second or third time, and he said, I had a nice gain. I said, what? He said, I got a $50,000 check that I didn't expect. And I thought, that's a really nice gain. And I had a neighbor that took the course, and I didn't see him for a while. And then I saw him about a year later. And I asked him, I said, so how did you do with releasing? I didn't see you much after that. He said, oh, I didn't really have too many changes. I said, really? Oh, I'm surprised about that. He said, well, I am getting married. And he had been single for, I don't know, maybe his whole life. He had been single for a long time. And he said, and she's pregnant. I'm going to be a dad. I'm so excited. I said, well, those are nice changes. He said, yeah, I guess I didn't think about, I have been releasing all this year, but I didn't think about that. It was just so natural. And he had a disability with his hearing, and he had always been afraid to have the surgery. And he had the surgery that year so he could hear better. And it made a huge difference in his life.
Mm.
And he had also changed jobs. And so it was like his whole life had changed, but he didn't think about it being from his releasing. And I'm
Yeah.
sure
Yeah,
when
I
I,
guess because it's so natural, right?
yes, it happens so gently and so easily. You don't think about it being that. When I worked in the office with Lester for about 5 or 6 years. And one of the things that I noticed was that I would change the addresses. People would call. Of course, this is before cell phones, so in the 80s. And people would call and they would say, I'm moving, I'm getting married, or I'm moving, I got a new job. And so I would change their address. And I kept track of the courses they did and all the changes, the new phone number or the new address, that kind of thing. And it was astounding at the changes. And they were all good changes. It was
Mm.
like people would change their whole life after they took the course. It was amazing. Yeah. fun, fun to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so far it is fun to release and yeah, you do laugh more and spending time with other people who release as well is good fun.
Yes, good friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Kate, you just mentioned Lester again, and I know you love him very much. I love him very much too. Could you maybe, I know you're very good at telling Lester stories. Could you maybe say something? Tell us a bit more about Lester, anything that comes up?
Um, it was wonderful to spend time with him. He was very low key, I would say, just low key. He wasn't one of those people. Sometimes I say to people, he wasn't Tony Robbins because
Oh.
he wasn't, this big personality. He was this gentle kind of uh, this gentle little Jewish man who was just so amazing. And a group of us would have dinner many nights. And he said one time, he said, I tell the same stories over and over and over and over. And you'd think you'd get tired of it, but we didn't. We never got tired of it. It didn't matter what he said, we just took it in. He was adorable, very
Hmm.
gentle, very easy to be around, so peaceful and funny. He loved to make word play, I call it, where you take a word and you make it a little twist and it's funny. He loved to do that. He was very, very intelligent. Yeah. And it was fun to be there. And he taught us with stories.
Hmm.
So many of the stories he told um, were to make a point. Yeah, yeah, he was a wonderful friend. Do you want a story about riding with Lester and his car?
Yeah.
At one point, um, all of us who worked in the office, we had old cars. And he said, here we are telling people they can have anything they want. And we're driving these old cars around. And he had I think it was a 61 Studebaker, maybe, was an old car, ran amazingly well and looked really good. He took good care of it. But he said, I think we all ought to get new cars. So we did. And I got a little blue, um, I can't think of the name of the car now, but I got a little blue, kind of a sporty little car, and he got a great, huge white Cadillac. And he said, I really like American cars. He said, I really do. So he had this big white Cadillac. And one day he said, I've got to go gas up the car. He said, do you want to come? And I said, sure. It was only just a few blocks. And so we rode down to the gas station. It was rush hour. And so cars were this is one of the busiest areas of Phoenix. That gas station isn't there anymore, but we pulled in, he gassed it up, and there's no space. I look at the cars, they're just one car after another. And there's no brake. And he pulled out and the cars made a space. And he pulled out very quickly. It was like, I'm sure he was speeding, but he did a U-turn in that traffic and went up the hill. And I thought to myself, am I afraid? No, I'm not even afraid. And I thought, well, it's because I'm with Lester, because I know I'm perfectly safe. So, but it was amazing. There was no space in the traffic. Yeah. He told me stories about how in New York, he said, the lights are all timed. So if you go the speed limit, you don't even have to stop. He said that the lights are all timed. So he used to see if you could go double the speed limit and if that would work. He said, it did. And he also told me how he got out of traffic tickets. And of course, he was very charming and he would say, "Oh, officer, I'm so sorry. Was I doing something wrong?" And he said they see me and my white hair and they don't want to cause trouble. And he, he was very good at getting out of traffic tickets, evidently.
I don't doubt that.
Yes. Hmm.
So, how long have you been teaching, Kate?
Lester invited me to do teacher training in 1982. And I started, I actually started coaching before that because I was in the office and if somebody called, they would have me coach the person. But I started teaching shortly after that teacher training.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, so it's been quite a long time. There were things he said that sort of directed me in a certain way. Um, he talked about certain people, certain kinds of people, and why they were that way. Or he talked about be sure that you let people really feel what's there before they let it go so they really can tune into it. And that was very helpful. I felt like a lot of people were releasing kind of from here up. And if you felt into it and let it go, you were letting go of much bigger chunks. So I
Mm,
tried to direct people to feel into as much as they could. Yeah.
yeah. So, you have something special coming up soon, your dynamic freedom course. And it said, I read something about complete journey from limitation to freedom, step by step. I thought, ooh, that sounds good.
Well, I noticed that when people learned to release and then they worked on what was stopping them, which is resistance, little tip. And then what the stories were that had been there all their life holding them back. If they could learn to really release deeply and really get that, and then they could let go of the resistance, and then they could let go of the stories that they had believed, which weren't true, that they could do anything. And as I've taught dynamic freedom, and seen people, even people who've learned to release before, when they do those three things together, it's so empowering. It's like nothing stops them. And
Mm.
they can go as far as they want to go. If they really want to be free, they can. So I really love teaching that 3 month in-depth, intensive, profoundly transformative course.
Mm.
It's what really works. Yeah. I I thought about calling it the Change Your Life course because because that's really what it is. It's the Change Your Life course. And dynamic freedom just had such a good feeling to it. We thought we'd call it that.
Mm.
Yeah.
You said how you, before you took the course, you've done like many courses to increase like your sales. Many people now have done many courses, right? Like
Yeah.
self-help.
Yes.
So I can imagine some people be like, oh, another course, you know? So, but
Yes.
what would make this and just releasing, what makes that different from any other method?
Well, I found out when I took the course that it wasn't like anything else. It's very unique. You can use it with anything else you do, and it's very helpful with anything else. We've had, people who meditate and people who do yoga and people who are very religious. All of them found that releasing really helped them because if you can let go of your feelings about something or your ideas that aren't quite right, even if they are right, if you can let go of that holding on, you have more space to create and to do whatever you want to do. It it's just miraculous, I think, is, I mean, I hesitate to say that because it's hard to believe, but it really is. When several friends and I were talking, maybe 2 or 3 years after we had done the course, and we were talking about how much it would be worth to us if we had known what was going to change. And they were big numbers. They were
Mm.
very big numbers because it changes everything if you want it to. It really does. Everything. Yeah. In a good way.
Yeah.
In a
And
very
like
good
I guess with many things or many other methods, it's about changing yourself or adding onto yourself, while with releasing it's getting back to who you truly are, right? By releasing that which is blocking it, as you said earlier.
Yes, it's really about removing the layers to the power and the light and the love that you are. And as you peel those layers, you see more and more and more of what you truly are. And, most of us have been seekers in one way or another. And we've looked for a way to see that truth. And this is the best way I know. And I looked for a long time before I found this. So it's profound. Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you would like to share? Maybe some practical things about the course?
The course starts May 2nd, and it's Saturdays, and then Wednesdays we'll have a Q&A if you have any questions or whatever. The course also includes a 1-year membership with our school group. And that membership includes Monday support calls and bonus courses every month. We just had a course called Body Love that's part of that membership. And so and also in the dynamic freedom, you get 2 private sessions with me. So during that course, if you have something that you're working on that you just feel like I really need some independent private help, that you have that. And we made this bundle to cover everything and to help you really change your life. And I'm very excited about it. I think it's the opportunity. If you've ever said, oh, if only I could just change this part of my life, this is your chance. And if you want to change several parts, that's possible. It's not it's not over the top to think you could change many things using what we're covering in this course. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a real deep dive.
Exactly. It is. And it's not painful. It's really letting go of the pain and the parts that hold you back and make you not the best you can be. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Laura. This has
Mhm.
really been fun. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you'd like to ask me?
Well, maybe just if there's anyone that would like to do it, but they're still doubting. Doubt is something that comes up a lot, isn't it? What would you say to that person?
You can email me. Go to the community on school. It's free to join, and you can communicate with me there and ask me anything. You can ask me anything. I work with people on all kinds of things, some of them very intimate, and you can ask me anything. I won't promise to answer every question,
Ooh.
but usually I do. Usually
Yeah.
I do. I can't think of any I wouldn't answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Anything you would like to share?
It's my greatest joy to teach people this way of having more love and more freedom and tapping into the power that we all are. And I really feel that all of us can help change the world. And with what's going on right now, the world could use the help. So um, I just I just would love to have you with us.
Yeah, and also for those watching this when the Dynamic Freedom course has started or has finished, there will be recordings as well, so people can still access the course.
Yes, yes. And um, recordings to the Monday calls and all parts of the dynamic freedom. So, yes, come join us. Let it be easy to change your life.
Mm.
Let it be the most um, enlightening thing you've done. Yeah.
Yeah, and also one of my like good friendships have come from releasing. So this community, it's so wonderful.
Yes, most of my closest friends are those that I did courses with in the 80s and 90s. And of course they knew my dark spots and my light spots. And they knew what I had let go of, and I know what they've let go of. And they're they're amazingly lighter and freer today. It's a
Mm.
lot of fun to be with them. So I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's been a great group that we've had too. I know this group will be another amazing one. Yeah.
Mm.
And I want to say, please, if you want to do dynamic freedom, join now because the spaces will have to be limited at some point. And so get your spot now so that you don't miss out. Please. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, good speaking with you, Kate. Thank you very
Same.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Mm.
much. It was fun.
Yeah.
See you soon.
You too.